Hi, today I want to do something I've never done before. I want to use the tools in the Adventures in Harmony course to build a chord progression totally from scratch using their chords on cards. Here we have 12,000 chords on cards here, and I'm going to use this tool to build a progression, something that has never been played before. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do with tool. Like I said, this isn't any old just plain deck of chords on cards. These chords on cards have been engineered to fit together like Lego building blocks. Let's get started. There are 12 tones in any scale. For example, the D flat chromatic scale, there are 12 tones. And your job to create a progression is just arbitrarily pick tones that are in that scale, and we're going to find the chords that go with those tones. The first tone I'm going to pick just arbitrarily is the 2 tone, the E flat. And I just simply go to my deck of cards and find a chord on that tone that I like. The first tone, like I said, is a 2 tone, which is labeled up here in the upper left-hand corner of the card. The 2 tone, which is an E flat chord. The first chord in our progression is going to be this E flat minor 11. And like I said, these are not those typical major and minor and 7th chord. These are those really hard-hitting chords that you want to hear on your instrument. This one, like I said, E flat minor 11, tone number 2 in the key of D flat. Let's hear this chord. There's E flat in the bass, and in the right hand is going to be B flat, F, G flat, A flat, and D flat. Like I said, that's a very pretty chord. So that's an E flat. Okay, the next chord or tone I want to pick, I just want to arbitrarily pick, say I want to go to the 1, a D flat. I go to my deck of cards, and I'm going to pick out a chord that corresponds to the 1, and that will be my next chord in this progression. The next chord that I picked is going to be this pretty chord, a D flat 9 sus. Sus means that the 3 has been altered or raised to the 4. So let's hear this chord, D flat 9 sus. There's a D flat in the bass, and then in the right hand it's going to be G flat, A flat, B, E flat, and G flat. Very pretty chord, another pretty chord. So let's hear those 2 chords together. We go from the E flat minor 11 to the D flat 9 sus. Okay, let's go ahead and just build that up some more. So we have an E flat chord, we have a D flat chord. How about this chord right here, this flat 2 in the key of D flat is a D. Let's just put that in as a neighbor. I talk about that in the course. Let's just find this neighbor chord to go in between this E flat and this D flat. And that chord that I'm going to choose is going to be this D7 sharp 9. So let's just put this in our little stack of Lego building blocks here and put that one in between and hear how that sounds. That D7 sharp 9 is going to be D in the bass, G flat, A, C, and F. Now remember, there's no D in the key of D flat, but we can put that pretty chord in here just as well. So what do we have so far? We're going to go from E flat minor 11 to the D flat 9 sus. Back to the D flat 9 sus. Put that D7 sharp 9 in between. So like I said, now we have a chord on D flat, D, E flat. Let's go ahead and just add another chord here. Let's add one on this major 7 tone, this C, because that's a neighbor to the D flat. We just simply go to our deck of cards here, and we're just going to add another one right before that D flat 9 sus, and that chord is going to be a C11. And the notes in that chord are going to be C, the bass, G, B flat, D, and F. Pretty chord. go to the D flat 9 sus. Let's go back to the beginning and see what we have so far. We went from E flat minor 11. In fact, let's go to that C11 now. Excuse me. That C was just a neighbor chord to that D flat 9 sus, D7 sharp 9, the E flat minor 11. These are, like I said, very pretty chords. Let's just do that again. Let's just add another chord in here. So we have a C, a D flat, a D, an E flat, and let's stick an E chord in here. That's going to be a minor 3 in the key of D flat. And I have here, let's add this chord here. It's a minor 3. We see here it's labeled in the upper left-hand corner of the card. Before we used the right-hand chord number, we're harmonizing the melody, but now we're harmonizing on the bass. We're going to use the left-hand side. This is an E7 6/9 flat 5. Now this is a pretty chord. Let's hear this one. And like I said, we're going to play that one before we get to the E flat. So we're like adding passing chords in between. So let's hear this pretty chord here. There is in the left hand is E, D, A flat, D flat, G flat, and B flat. Okay, and that's pretty. And like I said, we're gonna add that one in between and resolve out to that first chord, that E flat minor 11. So let's hear what we have so far. You go from create really pretty chord sequences / progressions completely from scratch with this course. Very easy to do by number with our chords on cards. As I've indicated to you before, the chords in this chords are like Lego building blocks. You can just reverse them, play them backwards, play them in almost any order, and they all sound good. Let's just do that with the chords that we just looked at. I'm just going to play it in a different order, and you'll see it still sounds good here. Let's look at it like this. Let's play the D flat 9 sus first, and go to the C11. Okay. And then go out to that E7 6/9 flat 5 before we go to the E flat minor 11. Just listen to this. Like I said, just playing the same chords in a different order. These are like your Lego building blocks. Okay, let's do it again, but let's put the D7 sharp 9 that we had. Let's put that in that mix. Right to the E minor 11 and leave out the E7 6/9 flat 5, or we can put it in and play them all. Like I said, we're just playing those same chords in a different order. Very pretty. Thanks a lot.